Yo, what's up guys, this is Sewell. Today's video, we're going to be talking about the 7 marches I recommend for today's open field. Well, all of those marches are being used in real fight, but not just on paper or testing. So first of all, regarding the meta change, actually has been mentioned already in previous video when we were talking about Philip. Well, in short, today's open field is all about high damage and everybody's poking, play sort of hit and run situation. So why don't we list out some of the good features on Commander that we do need on today's open field, as well as the bad thing that we don't want to see on a Commander. So regardless of raw stats and marching speed, what could be an asset to today's open field is multiple random skill, AoE primary, short range need, and more range gain. The disadvantage, or something that is no longer a priority we need to focus, is multiple hits in multiple turns, such as Sargon's ultimate. As long as you're pulling away, it's not going to fully work for sure. Buff or debuff coming after secondary, things like William buff, because it needs time to trigger, which has nothing to do with the first round of skill. Or single debuff, such as Nevsky Boudica debuff, because killing one march in today's open field is so easy. We don't need extra single debuff, simply because the march you can hit can also be hit by others. And lastly, anything that need to stack, things like dagger or web or even a commander passive, just because the retargeting is so frequent and it's very easy to get out of combat. Now with that being said, the two marches that I strongly recommend to use don't really rely on special inscriptions or even free-to-play can use are Liu Che Alex and Arthur Philip. Because back to the good feature we were talking about, except being short range, those two marches literally have everything else. An AoE primary march with multiple random skill and some extra range gain. Now Liu Che Alex is as crazy as everybody knows. There's nothing more we can talk about. Regarding talents, you can go like this. So Arthur Philip, if you're familiar with their skills, it's just so obvious. This pair is literally a cavalry version of Liu Che Alex. So Arthur's talent tree can go like this. Now here we have some of the top build Arthur Philip real fights report from our alliance. Now the reason why I said even free to play can run those two marches is actually both of them are mixed damage type with high marching speed. That means you don't necessarily have to have all of those special inscriptions nor level 5 iconic shoes. For example, Arthur Philip. Now this is data I manually calculated from a real report. So based on the damage output percentage, this pair's damage output is like 27% being normal attack, and then 70% being the random skill from Philip, which is skill damage, and then 56% from Arthur's combo attacks. Well, actually we can notice the difference between boost rate from Delta and Arch to this pair is not that significant, which means literally you can choose any formation if you don't have any special inscriptions. Well, if you do have butterfly effect, then you better go with Delta. If you don't have butterfly, but you do have other special inscriptions, you can go with Arch. If you don't have any, just do whatever gives you better stats. So those are the two marches that perfectly fit today's open field. It's all about random skill. As long as you have those instant proc, there's no way for you to lose a trade. Well, what's coming next is actually a tower march. I mean still, the red hat and the fat dude. Because like in today's open field, if there's only one march that can save your gameplay just because you suck on micro, it must be a tower. As long as you make sure your position is safe, this march is not going to lose a trade. And also, it doesn't require high iconic level nor special inscriptions. Well, if you're not a big fan of range or you're just not allowed, the march I recommend will be Joan. Joan nowadays is literally the only commander that has short range need. And the benefit on this commander is just fast ultimate, high skill damage increase, very high burst. His talent tree is like this, because technically, except the first two marches, all the good marches left are just not doing that much of random skill. Even if some do, the frequency and the strength just can't be close to Liu Che Alex or Arthur Philip. And while Huo in today's meta, he's way stronger than Nevsky. Like if you pair with different secondary to Huo or Nevsky, Huo will always give you the better reports. That's fact. Well, if I'm the only person that thinks Nevsky sucks, it might be my problem. But if there are a lot of people think Nevsky sucks, then Nevsky sucks. Because Nevsky, without pairing Arthur, he will just end up being the worst march in your 5 marches, or 6 marches, or 7 marches. Coming next, Zhuge Herman. I mean, how archers can survive in today's open field if that's a hit and run situation? The answer will only be an AoE duel, and the level 5 iconic shoes is a must. As long as this March can throw out its ultimate, Archer will still be the best in terms of killing. But again, you need to have good gears. Well, if we just talk about single commander strength, Zhuge for sure is still top 3. Like Arthur, Liu Che, and Zhuge are the top 3 commanders right now, and each one of them is carrying one troop type. Next we have Ragnar Scipio. The presence of Ragnar is just bringing 2 infantry to another level. He even makes Wedge useful on infantry. Cause think about this pair, it steals marching speed, steals attack, plus Scipio has a random skill, and it's a 3 target AoE duel, plus being super tanky. And maybe not as good as Zhuge when it comes to strength, but if we're talking about game experience, it should be way better than Zhuge. And for talent tree, you can go like this. Now, excluding the tower march, the best 5 march we have right now are 2 cavalry, 2 infantry, and 1 arch. They are Arthur Philip, Huo Zhiwang, Liu Che Alex, Ragnar Scipio, and then Zhuge Herman. Keep in mind, Liu Che Alex and Arthur Philip are in one tier, and then all the rest goes to another tier. This is actually found in real game experience. If you're free to play or newbie, just pick those OP marches to invest. Because first thing first, you always want to guarantee a game experience. That's the most important thing to play a game. So what's coming next is actually Archer YSG. Like I mentioned, the only thing that makes Archer playable in this meta is just AoE duel. A lot of people think Archer YSG is being slow. I mean, in fact, it's the same marching speed as Zhuge Herman. But the thing is, it's just being so expensive to craft another level 5 iconic shoes on the second Archer. But when it comes to strength, like you don't need to worry about a 5 target AoE duel. Again, as long as you can throw out your AoE, this pair is actually insane. But just combine experience and the cost, this pair is just not as prior as other marches. So that's all the 7 marches I recommend to play in today's open field. It's a 2+2+2+1 setup with relatively balanced resources cost, and when it comes to strength, it has no problem. Again, gameplay experience wise, Liu Che Alex, Arthur Philip are the top, and all the rest are just next level. Because those 2 marches just fitting so well in today's open field. It's all about poking and pulling away, while all the rest of the marches still rely on their ultimates. But keep in mind, in today's open field, no matter which march you're being targeted, you're a dead man. That's why I think today's open field is kind of sick. It's like you spend a lot of time on pulling away, but can't farm much KP, but one single mistake, you'll get fucked up. Alright, so that's everything for today's video. Next video, we're going to be talking about what 3 marches we can use for each type, and some more specific question on some commanders. Now make sure to subscribe and like the video. Thank you for support, and see you next one. Subscribe and like the video. Thank you for support.